Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I chose a very interesting topic, which especially women can relate to, why it's so difficult to lose weight, especially when we get into our 50s. I mean, it's not just women over 50. It usually starts around 10 years before that with perimenopause, or for some people even earlier. But once we get into our 50s, things become much more difficult, and even maintaining the weight that you currently had is much more difficult than ever before. One of the things people usually do is they just continue to restrict calories and exercise more. And even by doing this, they're not getting the results that they want. Pounds just start piling up, especially around the belly. So why is this happening, and what can we do about it? So as you probably guessed, a lot of this has to do with hormones. And one of the hormones is estrogen. And as estrogen starts to drop as we're getting older, the body just starts to deposit fat, especially around the belly area, which is very bothersome to many people, especially if you always had a flat belly and you looked great in bikinis, and all of a sudden you've got this nice muffin top going on and the belly's flipping over your jeans when you button them up. What happens when estrogen levels drop is that all other hormones also get out of whack. Another important hormone, you may not realize this, but it's also important for women, is to balance our testosterone levels. For example, my testosterone has always been pretty much non-existent, and that's not a good thing because testosterone is very important in weight loss and also in maintaining muscle mass. So what I would recommend, rather than playing around with these hormones yourself, which you can using bioidentical hormones, I would recommend seeing an expert who can advise you and prepare the right dose and make sure that you adjust the dose according to your needs until you get the perfect combination. I would not recommend HRT, as there are all kinds of different issues that women have experienced with that. I would definitely recommend the natural route as much as possible. Guys, I totally understand your frustration. A lot of you that are watching this video right now may have been struggling for many years with your weight. I see this with my friends and family and also in myself, so I understand and I feel your pain. And the struggle is real, and I mean, it's still a struggle for me every day, and trying to stay disciplined and all those things that just came naturally to you in your 20s and it was effortless. It's just not like that anymore. Like, we just need to work a lot harder and a lot more consistently. But the good thing is there are rewards in the end. So I think if you follow some of the tips that I've mentioned here in this video, it will make a difference for you as well. There was this very funny meme on the internet that I shared many times. It's just hilarious. And it shows how when the woman goes on a diet and she stops eating everything and she's having like 500 calories a day and she's exercising 2 hours a day and she's doing all these things, and weight loss at the end of a month is like 0. And then the husband stops putting creamer in his coffee and weight loss 10 kilos. So sadly, that's how it works. It's just so much easier for men because they're not dealing with all the hormonal issues and hormonal fluctuations that women are. So it's definitely not fair. And I'm sure a lot of you girls can relate to this. When it comes to our weight, it's not just our female hormones that will affect it, but also our thyroid hormones. A lot of people today, a lot more than ever before, are suffering from thyroid disease, Hashimoto's, Graves' disease, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and a lot of things are interfering with thyroid function. For example, I spoke about this in another video, how blue light can affect your thyroid and actually slow down thyroid production. So what happens when you're not producing enough thyroid hormones is that the body starts to store fat because your thyroid plays a huge role in your metabolism. So for people like me who suffer with Hashimoto's and have low thyroid levels, gaining weight is a big problem and losing weight is very, very difficult. But there are also a lot of things that you can do to protect your thyroid and to regain your thyroid function. Again, it's not an easy thing to do. I've spoken about this before. Protect your thyroid from blue light and red light, and low-level lasers can be very healing to your thyroid. Also, making the right diet and lifestyle changes will go a long way. If you're gaining weight and you're not sure why, I would really recommend having your thyroid checked to make sure that it's working properly. Sometimes even those tests are not very accurate and don't give you the true numbers, but it still will give you an indication as to what's going on. So the first step would be to definitely get your thyroid checked and to also get your female's hormones checked. The next hormone that plays a big role in us gaining weight is insulin. So what happens when we're eating a lot of carbs and our diet is made up of junk food, carbohydrates, a lot of sweets, bread, pasta, rice, those kinds of things, your insulin will be spiking all day long, crashing and spiking, crashing and spiking. You'll be hungry and you'll be eating a lot more calories than you need. And not only that, this insulin spike will constantly signal your body to store fat. So until you get off the insulin roller coaster, it's very difficult to lose weight. This is why I really recommend low carb diets like paleo, keto, carnivore diets. Vegetables can be a big problem for people, and it was for me. So until I eliminated most of the vegetables from my diet, I know this goes against everything else that you probably heard before, but for me, vegetables were definitely inflammatory. And getting rid of them really went a long way to healing my body and to be able to lose weight. I don't eat any fruit because fruit to me is pretty much like eating a cake. So I might as well eat a cake, which I would enjoy a lot more. Fruits are full of sugar and you will still get the insulin spike and the same kind of reaction, and your body will store fat if you're eating it constantly. I have a friend who follows a very strict paleo diet, but every summer he goes crazy and eats a lot of watermelon. And every summer he puts on 10 kilos just by eating watermelon. So just to give you an indication, I mean, if you like fruit and you enjoy it, treat it as a treat. Don't have it constantly. You do not need 5 fruit a day to be healthy. Another thing that can be detrimental to your weight loss efforts, especially as we're getting into our 50s, is not getting adequate sleep. Sleep is essential for rejuvenating the body, for healing, and also for weight loss. So if you're not getting enough good quality sleep, your body will naturally store more fat. It gets more difficult, again back to the hormones, to get a good night's sleep, to get a full 8 hours as we're getting older. I don't recommend melatonin supplements. I don't think we should be taking anything that the body should be producing itself. There's a few things that you can do to get better sleep. Please see this video for more information on that. Stress is also a big issue that can block your body from losing weight. What happens when you're constantly chronically stressed is that the body's in a flight or fight mode all the time. During this period, the body will just keep storing fat because it's a survival instinct. So if you're constantly stressed at work, at home, running around like crazy, and you're not taking the time to relax, to meditate, to unwind, losing weight will be much more difficult. Caffeine causes tremendous stress to your body. You probably don't want to hear this. I know this is a very controversial topic and people go off on me when I say please get off the coffee and the caffeine. I will do a separate video just about this topic because it's so important and it's so close to my heart. I've been off caffeine for about 4, maybe 5 years now, and all of my family and most of my friends have followed suit, and it makes such a huge difference. I right away dropped a couple of kilos as soon as I stopped the coffee. It was causing all kinds of health issues for me. And one of the things it does, it also puts your body in a state of stress, which will block your body from burning fat. So even though they're putting caffeine in all these weight loss supplements and they're telling you that coffee will help you lose weight, it's actually counterproductive, and I've seen the opposite happening. So if you're on the fence about coffee, I would suggest stopping for about 2 to 3 weeks to see what happens, to see if you are able to lose a bit more weight and just see how you're feeling. Just the fact itself that when you stop coffee, you will get very sick and you'll get headaches and withdrawal symptoms tells you that it's a very strong drug. It's a lethal drug, and it's something that they were able to brainwash all of us into drinking all day long. So if you research a little bit about that, it's a very interesting thing. If you do want to regain your health and your beautiful youthful figure, then coffee needs to go. Sorry guys. Doing the wrong kind of exercise can also be an issue, especially once you're in your 50s. I'm not a big fan of really high intensity long-term exercise like running and aerobics and things like that. I'm a big fan of high intensity interval workouts. I like to keep my workouts short and sweet and intense. I don't think we need to be working out 2-3 times a week and going at it for hours at a time. This again goes back to the stress hormones. For example, if you're running like crazy, your body doesn't know if you're running from a bear or you're just running for a sport. Definitely your body will be producing more stress hormones. I remember quite a few years back, this was about 10 years back, I was trying to lose weight. I hired a trainer and I was training with him every day. We would run for an hour. We would run like 8 kilometers and then we would do an hour of weight training, and I was just piling on the weight. So my body thought that we were like dying or we were running from something horrible, and I was just overdoing it, and overtraining can have really negative effect. So for me, walking, I love walking, hiking, swimming. I do short bursts of kettlebell workouts, squats, things like that. I think it's really important to keep your muscles toned, and the more muscle you have, the more fat you're burning at rest. So I work really hard on maintaining my muscle tone, but at the same time, I just don't overdo the exercise like I used to. It just never worked for me, and I don't think it works for most people. So to sum everything up, guys, first thing is to get your hormones checked, get your insulin, your female hormones, get your thyroid checked, just to make sure that everything's working properly. If it is, then there's still other things you can do. I would recommend quitting coffee, switching to decaf if you want to, but to get off the caffeine train and see how your body feels and how it responds to your weight loss efforts. I always talk about this, but I definitely recommend quitting carbs or limiting them as much as possible, eating a mostly meat-based diet with some vegetables if you want to, or if you can tolerate them well. Also, make sure your exercise is centered around building and maintaining muscle, flexibility, so yoga, tai chi, weightlifting, but not high intensity workouts or marathon running. I just don't recommend those sports. Make sure you guys get good quality sleep. This is absolutely crucial. Try to get your 8 hours every single night. And if you can't nap in the afternoon, by all means, if it feels good, do it. Try to stay away from stressful situations. Meditate regularly if you can. Try to keep your life balanced and happy. All of these things will make a big difference, especially as we're getting into our 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. Maintaining our weight shouldn't really have to be such a big effort. Once we have all these things in check, it should be much easier. If you have any experiences with any of these things, please comment below and let me know what worked for you. I'm sure I missed a lot of different points. These are just some of the most important things that I found that were working for me. So please let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about these different topics, about how to stay young, beautiful, and healthy into your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, please like and subscribe below. Thanks so much for watching.